Hey everyone, Kirk here from Kirk's Aquariums. Hope you and your fish are doing well. You're probably wondering how I do water changes in all these fish tanks behind me. Well, today's episode, I'm going to show you guys exactly how I do water changes from taking the water out all the way to putting fresh, clean water in all these tanks. And no, it's not using a bucket. So sit back, stay tuned, and enjoy the episode. Okay, so for the first part, you're going to need somewhere where the water you're taking out of your aquarium can actually go into and be stored. Now, you can either use just a smaller tub, but again, I like to use one of these nice heavy-duty tubs. And basically what you're going to do, and what I do, is I use just a piece of like washing machine hosing, and then that just plugs straight in to that, like so. This is another pump that I have just for taking water out of my fish room, and then I have the other one taking water into the fish tanks, the fresh water. But this one is the one taking all the dirty water, the old water, out of my fish room. So I basically let this fill up for 100 litres so I can do a water change on my fish tanks. I can take the water out and then basically can pump the water out of the fish room. And what I like to do is I actually like to use this water to water my plants outside and my flowers and stuff like that, because it makes a really good fertilized water for all your plants pretty much. Your plants outside, your indoor plants, they're all gonna love getting watered by your old aquarium water. So that's what I use it for. I try not to waste the water. I try to recycle the water as much as I can. But basically once you've got that in place, you can then, now depending on what substrate you've got, you can then use one of these, which is your gravel siphon. You can go ahead, gravel siphon all your aquariums. All the old water is going to come out of here, all the dirty water, and go straight into here. This is going to fill up, you're going to finish doing that, and basically now you've got an easy way with no buckets, no carrying water around the house. All you have to do is plug your pump in, have the long enough cord that's going, have a long enough tubing, I should say, sorry, that's going to go outside your house or wherever you need it to go. And then basically all you've got to do is plug the pump in and watch it just empty itself. You can utilize something like this really cost effective if you are looking at doing it like on a cost-effective budget. The main thing is it's going to save you a lot of time and stop any accidental spillages. Unless you forget to watch your aquarium as the water is going in, then you can accidentally overflow if you've got too much water. So other than that, it's a really easy system to use. Anyone can use it, basically on a small aquarium, on large aquariums. It's really easy to use. So I thought I'd show you guys this because this is how I water change over 30 aquariums in my fish room. So for this part, you want to be getting yourself decent sized container. Now if you've only got one small tank, it doesn't matter, you can get a smaller container and you can get a smaller pump. Considering I've got about 30 tanks in this fish room and this is how I do the water changes on all of them, I got myself a heavy duty 100 litre container. I'm not sure how many that is in gallons, I might put it up on the screen in conversion, but in Australia it is 100 litres in this container. So this is a heavy duty container. Now again, I would recommend buying the heavy duty plastic container if you're going to start doing like 100 litres or so, because I have used cheaper, thinner plastic ones, and the sides, once you fill this up with water, start bulging out like that. I haven't had one split on me yet, but I decided to switch to heavy duty because I did not want one of these to split and leak 100 litres of water all over my fish room. So basically what you need is one of these containers. You've got yourself one of this. This is going to be your fresh water container. So you fill this one up. Now you're getting, depending where you get your water from, I'm going to get it from just my tap. I'll show you guys where I'm going to get it from in a second. But what you're also going to need is you're going to need yourself a pump. Now I got this off Amazon/eBay, reasonably cheap. It does the job. I needed to make sure it was big enough so it would pump water up, and also be fast enough so I wouldn't be standing here for days watching the pump slowly trickle water out. If you've got a smaller aquarium or you've only got one aquarium, you can do this with like a bucket and put a small pump in the bucket, and even a normal like internal filter will work. So you can do this with what you've got laying around at home, or you can just buy one dedicated for this. That's kind of what I did, so I wasn't switching pumps out all the time. So this pump doesn't go in any of my aquariums, it's just for pumping fresh water into my aquariums when I do a water change. Now if you're enjoying this video so far or finding it helpful in any way, don't forget to go ahead and hit that like button for me. That'll just show you the support, and it is greatly appreciated here on the channel. It also helps this video get shared so that more and more people learn how to make water changing in their aquarium hobby much easier. So don't forget to go and hit that like button, and if you haven't subscribed to the channel already, don't forget to go ahead and hit that subscribe button as well. So now you've got the pump and the container underway, you're then going to need yourself a tube that has basically long enough to do your entire fish room or wherever you need. So if you've only got one tank, you don't need too much long of a tube. If you're doing multiple tanks and they're spread out, you're going to want to buy yourself long enough tubing that's going to reach all of your fish tanks. So now we've got the tubing up the other end. I bought myself from my local hardware store, which is Bunnings here in Australia. I bought myself a valve. And this turn valve basically just stops the water if I need to, and this becomes really, really handy when you've got multiple tanks, because instead of turning off the pump, you can actually just quickly turn off this valve, take this end over, and then basically put it in the new tank, turn on your valve, and then you've got water going straight into the next tank. So you can actually also slow down the amount of water coming out as well. So if you've got a baby fish tank or just a smaller tank in general and you've got other bigger tanks, you can actually just sort of slow the amount of water coming out. So basically that's how I do that. Now up this end, I put a connector on, and this is just, I'll try and tell you, I'll show you on the here. This is just 19mm poly pipe. So basically I just cut a length here, I put an elbow joint on here, and then I put another piece along through here, another elbow joint going down, and then another piece going straight down on there. Ideally, you could actually have it going out like this to another elbow joint in case you, this is just too much force of water going down and ruining all your substrate and uplifting your plants. So you can actually, I just sort of turn it on an angle like that. But realistically, I personally, next time I build one, or I might change this one, I would go down a little bit and then use another elbow valve to go out like this. You can also use like a lily pipe from one of your canister filters. If you've got a spare one of them laying around, you can also use that as well. This is just what I had laying around of spare poly pipe, so I just made this little contraption. That way I can hang over the tank like so, and then I can just use this to turn on the flow. So we're going to fill this container up now with nice, fresh, clean water, and I'm not using anything special. I'm just straight from my tap, linked to my garden hose. Basically this hose is used just for my fish room's water. So we're just going to fill this up, and we'll get back to you once it's all filled up with fresh, clean water. Okay, so we're back, and we've got our tub fully filled up with fresh, clean water. Now what we need to do from here is we need to dechlorinate the water. So we need to remove the chlorine and the chloramines out of the water, otherwise that is going to ruin all of our beautiful fish. So I use a product called Seachem Prime. Now I've been using Seachem Prime for years and years and years. This is actually one of their special edition ones with the rhino on it. But I really, really like this product. It takes out the chlorine and the chloramines out of the water. What it also does is it detoxifies ammonia for about 24 hours. And what that can do is allow your fish not to be hurt by the toxic ammonia in the aquarium after doing the water change. Or in an emergency, if there's an ammonia spike, you can use this to detoxify ammonia for up to 24 hours. But you need to have biological filtration that's going to break down that ammonia, and plants that are going to eat the ammonia as well. So I use Seachem Prime and chlorinate the water. Now read the instructions on the back if you're going to use the products that you're using, but basically that's just going to dechlorinate the water. Now at this point, as you can see, the water's moving. I like to have the pump that I'm about to use to pump this fresh, clean water into my aquarium. I like to have it running, so that way the water's getting moved around in this tub. And basically, depending on what type of fish you're keeping and depending what your water source is, I alter the pH. Now I use a product called Seachem's Acid Buffer, and I've been using this product for a long time as well. I like it. It works well with my tap water for some reason, and it just helps me control my pH, because the water out of my tap is really, really hard and actually quite a high pH at like 8.1, 8.2. So I like to just use this. I like to use Seachem's Acid Buffer for lowering the pH before I put the water into my aquarium. So I've gone ahead and siphoned some water out of the tanks behind me here, and I'm going to show you guys right now just how easy and simple this is to refill all your tanks, or even just your one small aquarium, with fresh, clean water using this easy method. Right, so we're about to fill up this tank with the fresh, clean water, and I actually listened to my own advice. I actually had a spare elbow joint laying around, so instead of it coming straight down, I added the elbow joint in, and that's just going to push the water out rather than down into the substrate. So I'll go ahead and turn the valve now, and basically fresh water should start coming out like so. And just like that, we have fresh, clean water now getting pumped into our aquarium. No buckets, no trying to tip the bucket into the tank, and if you're watching out, hopefully no overflows, because one very, very quick tip for you guys. If you guys start using this method, keep in mind that if you do multiple tanks with one bucket load and you don't watch this, there might be a chance that it'll overflow and flood your fish room. So just a little quick heads up for that one. But this is the way. I'll show you guys the rest of the tanks now. So there you have it, guys. That's how I do water changes inside my fish room, and hope you guys have taken something away from this today and learnt a thing or two about making water changes in your hobby a much easier and simpler thing. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to hit that like button to show your support, and it is greatly appreciated here on the channel. And like always, guys, happy fish keeping, and I will see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.